Welcome back to Dinar Daily, your source for updates and insights on the Iraqi dinar. Today's report is of particular note, as it appears to signal a significant development in the currency's trajectory. We'll be discussing the recent events that have captivated the attention of analysts, financial institutions, and currency holders alike. The information circulating points to a potential shift in the dinar's value, which, if confirmed, could represent a major milestone for the currency. We'll examine the facts, the documentation, and the broader context of these claims, so stay with us as we break it all down. At precisely 9:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, a wave of information began to spread through private investor networks. The source of this information was said to be a collection of internal documents, originating from Wells Fargo's currency division. Unlike typical online chatter, these files were described as formal corporate memos, complete with structured formatting, specific rate classifications, and detailed redemption protocols. The documents were not a casual leak but appeared to be a purposeful disclosure of sensitive financial data. This event has generated considerable discussion, particularly within communities that follow foreign currency revaluation. The most compelling detail within the leaked Wells Fargo documents was a direct reference to a multiplier rate of 6 times, or 6x, being applied to the Iraqi dinar. The documents reportedly classified this under a specific designation, Asset Redemption Tariff Priority Level B. This terminology is significant, as it suggests a structured process for handling high-value or sovereign-level transactions. This kind of tiered classification is a standard practice in institutional banking for managing large-scale financial movements, and its alleged application to the dinar implies a level of preparation and formalization that has not been publicly observed before. Under the previous public exchange rate, a 25,000 IQD banknote was valued at approximately 21 United States dollars. However, the leaked Wells Fargo memo hinted at a very different reality for those participating in structured redemption contracts. The same note, under these reported conditions, could be worth between $126 and 150 United States dollars. The final value was said to be dependent on factors like the holder's specific access, the bank's internal classification, and the geographical location of the exchange. Such a notable change in valuation is rare in standard foreign exchange markets, which is what made this information so impactful for those who closely follow the dinar. While the Wells Fargo documents were fueling conversations in Western investor circles, a parallel and equally significant development was said to have occurred within Iraq. The September 2025 issue of the Central Bank of Iraq's CBI official Gazette reportedly contained a small but powerful footnote. It read, Phase 2 adjustment of national currency value executed under Article 114.6, aligned with regional asset backing regulations. This was a piece of information that would likely be missed by most, but for currency policy experts it carried a profound meaning. It was an official statement from the CBI itself. This brief mention in the official Gazette is understood to be a public acknowledgement of a structured and phased revaluation. The phrase, Phase 2 adjustment, suggests a deliberate multi-step process for recalibrating the currency, moving beyond a simple, one-time fluctuation. The reference to Article 114.6 and regional asset backing regulations is particularly important, as it ties the dinar's value to tangible reserves such as oil, foreign investment, and agreements with international partners like the United States, China, and the IMF. This official language provides a layer of institutional backing that has been previously absent from the broader public discussion. Analysts who have examined this development suggest it signifies the formal completion of the second stage in a long-anticipated economic plan. They believe this quiet, official publication, in contrast to a major public announcement, is a deliberate strategy to manage the revaluation process. By embedding the change within legal and regulatory language, the CBI may be seeking to revalue the currency gradually and methodically, avoiding a sudden destabilizing shock to the market. This approach would allow for a more controlled transition, with the goal of smoothly integrating the dinar into the global financial system, For a typical holder of Iraqi dinar, all the complex jargon from banking memos and government publications ultimately comes down to one critical question: what is the currency now worth? We can illustrate the potential impact by running the numbers. As mentioned, a 25,000 IQD note, once worth about $21 USD at the public rate, could now be worth $126 to $150 USD under the reported multiplier. This is a considerable change that could significantly impact personal finances for those holding this specific note. This shift represents a substantial change from the previous valuation. The potential change becomes even more pronounced with larger holdings. For example, a 50,000 IQD note, which had a previous value of approximately $42 USD, would now be valued in the range of $252 to $300 United States dollars. A $500,000 dinar, once worth about $420, could rise to between $2,520 and $3,000, and a full million IQD, which was previously valued at around $840, might now be worth between $5,040 and $6,000. This kind of dramatic shift in value is what has made this news so captivating for the investor community, as it could reshape personal finances for many individuals. The information suggesting these rates is not coming from speculative blogs, but from what are reported to be internal bank documents and official policy statements from the Central Bank of Iraq. This provides a new level of credibility to the discussion that has surrounded the Iraqi dinar for years. For individuals who have been holding this currency, these developments could be profoundly significant. It has the potential to help with paying off debts, financing property acquisitions, or securing retirement. A six-fold multiplier, if it holds, could be one of the most remarkable wealth transfers tied to a single currency in recent history. The unfolding events, sparked by the Wells Fargo leak and the CBI's official gazette, have drawn a response from prominent figures in global currency analysis. Dr. Stephen Michaels, a currency strategist based in Washington, D.C., suggested that this development is a logical and expected part of Iraq's long-term economic strategy. He explained that the six-fold increase is consistent with Iraq's goal of reducing black market activities and unifying its exchange channels. Dr. Michaels stated that this is not just hype, but rather the execution of a well-defined monetary reform plan. Sarah Juma, a former advisor to the CBI, offered a perspective that the central bank's primary mission has always been to protect the purchasing power of its citizens. She noted that the central bank's strategy has been to reposition Iraq for integration into the World Trade Organization, WTO, and to prepare it for foreign trade flows. According to Juma, the six-fold increase is a strategic move, not a random fluctuation, designed to align the currency with its true economic potential. Her comments underscore the institutional thinking behind the CBI's recent actions. Meanwhile, James Rivera, a global banking consultant with reported connections to top-tier financial institutions, stated that the Wells Fargo leak marks a turning point. He believes this is the moment when U.S. Tier 1 banks begin to list the revalued dinar in their internal rate sheets, which is a key indicator for investors. These expert opinions collectively suggest that the multiplier rate is not a fantasy, but a planned outcome of a carefully executed economic roadmap. They believe the dinar is being brought into alignment with international trade frameworks, creating a new landscape for both the Iraqi economy and those holding the currency. The most anticipated development for many grassroots dinar holders is the timeline for redemptions under the Tier 4B category, which refers to private individuals who may gain access to special exchange processes. According to sources within these investor groups, redemption appointments have reportedly begun as early as September. It is believed that priority was given to holders of 25,000 dinar notes or larger, a strategy that would streamline the process and reward those with significant holdings. This suggests a highly organized and controlled rollout of the exchange program. The logistics of these redemptions are said to be highly organized. Specific redemption centers in various U.S. states, including Texas, Florida, Arizona, Nevada, and Ohio, have reportedly received updated instructions and operational codes. These codes are described as being part of an asset-backed sovereign exchange protocol. The report suggests that these centers are operating on a strict appointment basis, rather than as open walk-ins, which is a reflection of the controlled and discreet nature of the entire process. This organized approach is intended to manage the flow of liquidity and maintain order. For those preparing for an exchange, the reported requirements are clear and precise. Individuals are expected to present government-issued identification and ensure their currency notes are in good condition. Some sources also mention that proof of purchase may be requested to verify authenticity and legality. It is also rumored that some centers may ask clients to sign non-disclosure agreements (NDAs) before processing the transaction, which highlights the sensitive nature of the operation. Participants are also advised to have a basic financial plan ready, as this can influence the options presented during the redemption. This combination of structured timelines, regional rollouts, and specific documentation requirements points to a phased approach designed to manage the process effectively. For many, this represents the culmination of a long journey, marking the transition from speculation to tangible financial reality. The quiet yet official nature of this transition is what makes it so different from previous rumors and online chatter. It indicates a deliberate and strategic move by both the Central Bank of Iraq and international financial institutions to formalize the dinar's value. For individuals holding Iraqi dinar, the most pressing question is not about the reality of the revaluation, which is now supported by both leaked documents and official government statements. The question is what to do in this critical window before the news becomes widespread. Historically, shifts of this magnitude have favored those who are prepared and act early. The consensus among experienced individuals is that the most significant activity happens discreetly in private appointments and redemption centers. Before the news hits major media outlets. To prepare for this window, holders are advised to take several practical steps. First, organize your currency notes by denomination. This can help to expedite the exchange process and minimize errors. Second, research the designated redemption locations that have been reported to be active. Early movers are expected to have priority scheduling. Third, prepare a plan for your appointment, including backup options. Finally, pay attention to the financial screens and alerts from major banks, as these are often updated before any public announcement. Having a clear exit strategy is also key. Whether that involves a long-term hold or reinvesting the gains, the confirmed revaluation of the Iraqi dinar is not just an isolated event for Iraq. It is sending ripples through the global financial system. Analysts have pointed out that a dramatic adjustment in a currency linked to regional assets could prompt other currencies under similar conditions to follow suit. The Vietnamese dong VND is one such currency that is already being mentioned as a potential next candidate for recalibration. Whispers among currency traders suggest a possible multiplier of 2x to 3.5x for the dong, driven by Vietnam's strong export trade and new agreements. Market observers also note that the Zimbabwe dollar's complex bond structure is drawing renewed scrutiny. The IMF has reportedly initiated a compliance review tied to global currency reset standards, with signs pointing toward a recalibration anchored in the country's significant mineral reserves. These ripple effects are not confined to a single country or region. They are influencing foreign exchange traders, who are adjusting their positions, and strategists at institutions like the IMF, who are recalculating sovereign debt exposure across Africa and Asia. The dinar's movement is seen as a catalyst that could redefine regional stability and foreign investment flows. With any development of this scale, misinformation can spread quickly. It is crucial to separate verifiable facts from rumors. One common claim is that the revaluation rate is fake. However, the information from the CBI's official gazette and the leaked Wells Fargo banking memos provides a level of institutional record that distinguishes it from mere speculation. Another persistent rumor suggests that only insiders can exchange, while top-tier clients may have priority. The system of redemption centers is reportedly designed to serve the broader community of individual holders. A third misconception is that this is simply another delay tactic. Multiple reports, however, suggest that exchange activity is already underway, with confirmed appointments taking place at centers in the U.S. The most significant question remains whether the 6x multiplier is real. The answer, as supported by the alleged institutional documents and confirmed by multiple systems, appears to be yes. The multiplier rate is being presented not as a projection but as an operational reality on live banking screens, suggesting that the process is already in motion behind the scenes. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence to date is a reported screenshot from an internal Wells Fargo platform. A confidential source with authorized access allegedly provided a live visual record showing updated foreign currency tables. The screenshot reportedly showed an entry for IQD with a rate multiplier 6.01x, a tier category level B sovereign holder, and a redemption protocol form 72B asset. This data was accompanied by a timestamp that was just minutes after the CBI had issued its Gazette bulletin. This apparent alignment between a public bulletin in Baghdad and a private update in a U.S. banking system provides a powerful piece of corroborating evidence. This leaked screenshot, if authentic, would provide concrete proof that banks are not waiting for mass public awareness. The financial machinery is reportedly already in motion, quietly processing exchanges under a structured tiered system. This moves the conversation from what if to what is happening. For years, those following the dinar have asked for hard evidence, and the screen capture would be a verifiable snapshot linking Iraq's monetary reform to the internal preparations of a major U.S. bank. It would be a significant development that is difficult to dismiss as mere coincidence. The most powerful indication of the significance of this moment comes not from analysts or documents but from the direct experiences of everyday people. The community of dinar holders has been sharing messages of relief, excitement, and vindication. Individuals have reported holding on to their notes for years, only to see their patience finally rewarded. One person from Texas reportedly booked a redemption appointment in Houston and was quoted a rate at the reported multiplier. These accounts provide ground-level confirmation of the process in action, with real numbers and real appointments. These personal stories serve as living evidence that the information is accurate and actionable. They show that this development is not confined to institutional finance but is affecting real people, families, and communities. The testimonials highlight how crucial it is to have reliable, fact-based information in a landscape often clouded by rumors. They reinforce the idea that this movement is about ordinary people stepping into a moment that could redefine their financial future. The quiet execution of the plan is what is rewarding those who have been paying close attention. As we conclude this special report, it is important to reflect on the scale of what is occurring. This is not simply a currency fluctuation. It is a major monetary reform that could be one of the most extraordinary wealth transfers in modern history. A six-fold increase in the value of a national currency, supported by institutional documents and official policy, is a confirmed reality. For those who have endured years of skepticism and false starts, the data is now undeniable. Internal bank systems reflect the multiplier, the CBI has confirmed its phased adjustments, and redemption centers are reportedly processing exchanges. Whether you hold a large or small amount of dinar, the principle remains the same. This appears to be a window of opportunity to act decisively. It is not about luck but about patience and foresight. The moment for execution has reportedly arrived. To stay informed and ahead of the curve, it is vital to rely on verified alerts and solid information. As this historic chapter unfolds, the question is not about the revaluation's reality, but about how you choose to position yourself. The dinar has revalued not in theory but in practice, and this is the moment that many have been waiting for.